Shul Tov, guys. So, if you go to the old city of Jerusalem today, you'll find that there's a few gates. There's different quarters. There's the Armenian quarter, the Jewish quarter, the Christian quarter, and the Muslim quarter. And there's a few gates to get into the old city. There's Dung Gate, Zion Gate, Lions Gate, Jaffa Gate. And there's one gate in particular, which leads to the Muslim quarter, which is called Damascus Gate. The other name for it is Shar Shechem Gate. Why? Because from that gate, when you exit, you can hit what's called Route 60, and it will lead you all the way to Shechem, which is today they call Nablus. And the only reason it's called Nablus is because Arabic doesn't have the letter P. It was originally called Neapolis, which is basically New City. It was a Roman name, right? So folks, just like Nablus or Neapolis was conquered by the Arabs and renamed Nablus, originally was Shechem. Damascus Gate is called Damascus Gate because the capital of the caliphate at the time that it was conquered by the Arabs, Jerusalem, it eventually became Damascus, Syria. Folks, before Israel was a state, and we're talking about the 1800s, we're talking about even the early 1900s, and even shortly after the what do they call it? The Balfour Declaration. Arabs in what today is Israel would protest, and they would hold up signs basically saying we are some version of that they want to be Syrian, that they want to be part of Syria. We are all Syrian. We want to be part of Syria. Folks, they wanted to be ruled by Syria. Because as you know, they were ruled by the Ottomans for 400 years. And then they were ruled by the British. So they didn't want to be ruled by the Turks. They didn't want to be ruled by the British. So who's the power that they most associated with? Damascus. They didn't know how to rule themselves because it was just a bunch of, tribes. And it is a bunch of tribes, right? A bunch of sheikhs, a bunch of tribes. So they'd rather be ruled by a central body, right? At that time, it was like these caliphs, modern caliphs. The Ba'ath Party only came about later. When you're talking about, Saddam Hussein, and then when they split up, they were like these socialist Baathists, socialist guys, Arabs. Folks, they didn't want their own state. They didn't have like this PA stuff. They had, what's his name? Hajamino Husseini, right? Grand Mufti. But these people wanted to be part of Greater Syria. Folks, people talk about Greater Israel. They wanted to be part of Greater Syria. That's what they wanted. Right? And for 400 years, they were being ruled by the Ottoman, the Turks. They seemed okay with it. Why? Because they never asked the Turks for their own state. They never complained free Palestine from the Turks, from the Ottomans. You never saw people attacking Turks all over the world or in Turkey for that matter. Granted, there were no... At that time, most of the Turks lived in Turkey, you know? There were hardly any Turks in Germany or Switzerland or anywhere else for that matter, right? The German soccer team was German. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have guys, what's his name? I forget the name of the player. He's a Turkish guy, very famous Turkish guy, played for the German soccer team. They didn't have those guys, right? On their team. They had Germans. So, guys, this was a Syrian production. A gate in the old city of Jerusalem is called Damascus Gate, my friends. Like, think about that. Ask yourself the question, why is that the case? And now, think about it in the context of what's happening right now in Syria. And what Israel's trying to do with respect to protecting the Druze. And just stepping foot into Syria at all, basically. Right? So, it's interesting, right? But yeah, guys, these people never wanted to govern themselves until the Jews took power back in the land that, you know, they used to have power thousands of years ago. And all of a sudden now, oh, free Palestine. Free Palestine. You want it to be Syrian. I thought you wanted to be under Damascus. Folks, today, these Jolani guys, you know, they're the ones that, and now they're declaring themselves as ISIS or Al Qaeda. I don't know. They're like, oh, you know, once we're done with the Druze, we're going to come for Israel. We're going to go for the Jews in Israel. Folks, I mean, this is what it's all about. It's all about Syria. Damascus Gate. It's not called Palestine Gate. You know? It's not called, I don't know. It's not called Arafat Gate. It's named after a city. It's in a different country. Miles and miles away. Like hours away. Does anybody find that fascinating? I sure as heck do. Alright guys. Shabbat Tov. Talk to you soon.